All right, I can see Luigi there. Wasim, I have put in. Uh, I can't find Akshay. I can't find Kalyan. अक्षय दिख नहीं रहा है कल्याण के I am assuming the guys are putting their names there. HJM, okay, Kalyan is not there. Richa, I can't see Richa also. Okay, so let me figure out. Okay, I can see Luigi there.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Luigi. I can see Luigi. I can see Wasim.
Hi.
And hi, Wasim. I'm just trying to figure out where are the other guys. Wasim. Okay, Gunjan, I admitted. Okay. Where are the others? Sorry, back channeling करना पड़ रहा है. You guys are looking good यार. वसीम क्या हो गया तेरी दाढ़ी को यार? सफेद हो रहा है. Luigi, what about you यार? You do, where are the whites? You have to turn left. I can see. Very nice. Hey, you guys are becoming as old as I was. Aren't you as old as when I started teaching?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is this Ram ? Okay, so now how do I search for people? Okay, let's try searching. AKSH. Akshay is there. There you go. Promote to panelist. Akshay is done. Okay, and so I have Wasim, Akshay, Gunjan, and Luigi. I still need to figure out where are the rest of the guys. Who are the rest of the guys? Kalyan. Let's check Kalyan. There is Kalyan. Promoted.
Sir, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Just give me some time to figure out where are the people.
Hey, Louis.
Hey, Akshay.
Finally,
after years.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I've lost track of time.
Susan,
hey, Wasim,
can't
nice
be
to meet
seen.
you.
Nice to meet you as well, Akshay. How you doing?
Okay.
All good, brother. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
Okay, I can't find Susan. And Richa, I am assuming this is the right Richa with just Richa. Hi, Kalyan. You're looking the same, yaar. Kya ho gaya? How come no white hair, no beard? तो EMEA region है भाई.
No, I'm still the same.
Look at Luigi here. Luigi is practically like.
It's a COVID effect.
It's a COVID effect. Okay. Acha, Richa, Susan doesn't seem to have joined us yet. And is that the last of the lot? So we have Akshay, Gunjan, Luigi, Wasim, this thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Richa, is I'm going to make you also. Can I make you? No, I can't. No, I can't make you a co-host. So we'll have to wait for it. All right. So now I'm going to, all the attendees are there. Okay. So I'm just going to ask one of the attendees to, okay, chats are there, Q&A is there. So Richa and I will be moderating the Q&A. I'm going to essentially also moderate chats, but I don't like people to do chats. Okay. Okay. All right.
So Susan has joined?
I can't see her. I am going to check again. Susan has joined and Susan is promoted. There she is. Here, then, Richard, next time we need a equal match of men and women. Okay, this bearded guys, I mean, look at Akshay. Kya kiya hua hai?
काट दिया सर और मतलब
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Don't tell me.
Hi, Nisha. How are you?
Okay, Richa is there.
Good. How are you?
Susan, you're going in and out. All right. Okay, so we have spent some time. Hi, Susan. Can you unmute yourself? Kalyan, unmute yourself, please.
Answer.
Hi. All right. So we have a set of 128 folks from the very August 2020-22 batch. This is the 20th batch that I am teaching. Okay, that makes me fairly venerable and old and doddering. Unlike you guys, some of you remember all these long nights of teaching. Unfortunately, I have lost that energy now. So, regrettably, they will not be able to. All right. So, let's move forward. As we discussed, and this is now 1634, I'm going to start from the top and I'm going to ask Luigi. By the way, we have circulated a document to all the students, and therefore they know a lot about you. But nonetheless, it's always a nice thing to start off. So, from a hierarchy perspective, we will start with the 2005 batch, and Akshay can start because A comes before L. All right. And I am going to stop my video because I am not the star. All right. All right, Akshay, move on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great and staying safe and healthy in these times. My name is Akshay Manikantan. I am the 0305 batch. Been in Dubai for the last 15 odd years. Traveled right from the industries of advertising, marketing, retail, and then moved on to luxury retail and now into e-commerce. So currently I head Mohammed Hilal Group's e-commerce, CRM and loyalty operations, which is pretty much our Emirati-owned business into luxury perfumes, into fragrances, beauty category, as well as F&B outlets. And we are the only Emirati brand of fragrances which are manufactured in the UAE. So unlike the other brands that you would have heard of, we are in the luxury retail category. So this was a challenge I took up 2 years back after serving almost 8 years in Landmark. And prior to that with Omnicom, and before that, Hewlett Packard. So yeah, I mean, excited to be part of this entire session, and thanks to Chandrakant sir and Richa for putting this together, and happy to share whatever points I have from my side.
Great, thank you very much. That was very rapid fire and very quick. Luigi, match that speed.
Good afternoon, guys, and ladies. My name is Luigi D'Souza. I'm also part of the 2003-2005 batch, majored in finance, minored in marketing. I've been 15 years in the banking sector, placed out of campus with Indus Bank, directly into financial markets, moved on to Uganda, where I headed the treasury for the largest private bank, worked very closely with the central bank for 4 years and developed the market. And then I was finally asked by Standard Chartered Bank to join them into Kenya for 4 years, where I traded the East Africa currencies for the entire region, moved on to South Africa with Standard Chartered Bank for 6 years, traded the Southern Africa region, and today I'm based in Dubai, the regional office. I trade financial markets for the full of Africa for the entire bank. So anything for Africa, whether you're in India, Mauritius, UK, pricing comes to me and I manage risk. That's something short about me. I enjoy performing arts. I love pets. And I enjoy interacting with people.
Great. Thank you, Luigi. And moving on, we go to 2007 batch, and Gunjan, you're on.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gunjan, 2007 batch. Graduation in computer engineering. I did marketing and IT from IBA. After doing PGDBM, I joined Landmark Group SPAR as a management trainee and started off into category management, moved into store operations, then region operations. Also did a bit of IT as a business analyst. We rolled out Oracle ERP in India. Then I was moved into the Middle East, into their other concept of EMEA, which is an electronics chain in Middle East. I think Susan is with them now. So I was with them for 2 more years. Then I shifted to another conglomerate in Saudi Arabia, Abdul Latif Jamil, as an operations head for Central Saudi Arabia. And then I launched an SBU over here, which is a 100 million plus entity. And this is strategically pushing into various Ministry of Housing initiatives across the Middle East and Saudi Arabia for the royals. And apart from this, I like swimming. I am into a lot of drawing, painting, and quizzing. While at IB, I was the creative head of Cosmos. I've not been hearing about it. Maybe Richa might be able to tell us whether it's still there or what's happened to it. So that's more about me.
Cosmos is in Kashmakash.
I thought so.
Okay, but it is still there. I mean, thoda moss ho raha hai, but we'll probably handle the moss at some juncture.
Yeah.
Wasim.
Yeah, we won't let it go.
Good.
Amazing.
Wasim.
Hi everyone. So I'm Wasim Survey, 2006, 2008 batch, specialized in marketing and international business. And I got placed out of campus with Group M Media, which is in Bombay. It's been 12 plus years that I've been in the industry now. I'm only recently transitioned to the client side. But before I tell you about that, I want to sort of take you through a quick overview of my journey in the media industry. So like I said, I was placed out of campus with Group M. I've handled major Indian brands like Vodafone, L'Oreal. Then I got a chance to move abroad where I've handled even bigger brands, local telecom brands as well. The two biggest brands in my portfolio were P&G, where I was heading the planning team for P&G in Indonesia, and then Johnson & Johnson for the EMEA region as well. Currently, I am the digital and advertising head for Qatar Financial Center, which is sort of, think about business marketing, destination marketing for businesses, attracting various foreign entities to come and set up in Qatar. So I handle and lead all the global digital and advertising efforts that we put across. In terms of interests, I love football. I love tech. Typical, guy things.
Typical guy things. All right. Let's not Kalyan. Let's move forward.
Okay, cool. So good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity to interact with the team here. Myself, Kalyan Pola. I have passed out from IBA 0608 batch, marketing and information technology. And I started my journey with Reddington as a management trainee, managing IBM business in India. From then, I have moved on to a couple of companies managing IBM throughout, and then I moved to IBM in 2009. I did multiple roles when I was with IBM. I did marketing, I did channel sales, business partner ecosystem development. I lived in the US for about 2 years, developing the business partners on digital transformation, etc. Now, currently, I'm with Indra Micro in Dubai from last 2.5 years, heading the IBM business for the Middle East and Africa region. I always bleed blue is what I say. Anybody wants to know more about IBM, so I'm the man. But last 6 months, I started wearing red hat also because IBM acquired Red Hat. So anything with respect to technology, artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchains, the latest and greatest is what I handle in this region. And when it comes to interests, yes, I like driving. So I like those fancy cars. That's one of the reasons I've moved to Dubai, I would say. That's it from my end.
So are you also testing the maximum limit of each car and then returning it saying that it is not hitting the other end of the speedometer?
No, I'm not so crazy like the guy who recently posted the 300 kilometers speed on that electronic city flyover.
That also in Bangalore, for God's sake. Yeah. Interesting. Thank you very much, Kalyan. And Kalyan has also been a very regular visitor to IBA. But now, unfortunately, I mean, once ek samundar par types, okay, Arabian Sea and all that. All right. And Susan.
Hi, everyone. Hope all's good. just a little bit about myself. So I moved to Dubai about 11 years ago. I got placed from campus, and I joined a company called Sharaf DG, which is into electronics retail. So I joined their operations, and I was one of the assistant store managers in their Dubai mall store. That was like my first job. And then from there, of course, I stayed into retail. I got a chance to get into buying, and that's how I joined Emax. I joined Emax, which is part of Landmark Group, and I joined them as a buyer. Over the years, I've been with them for 8 years now, and currently I am a category head. I handle the accessories department for all their stores in UAE. That's just about my job. And then, yes, I'm settled here, pretty much settled in Dubai. I'm married, I have a son. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm very humbled with this opportunity to speak to y'all, and whatever questions, whatever with the little experience that I have, I will try to share.
I don't think so, Susan. The privilege is ours that you have sort of made time to talk to us. And I feel that I think we have started a very nice thing in terms of connecting with the diaspora. And, apart from Facebook, we have generally not been well connected. So as you see that I have changed the name of the WhatsApp group to EMEA. So I'm going to bring in a lot more people also from Germany, UK, etc., because all of them are sort of in the same time zone. Similarly, we'll start one for the Far East, and we'll start one for the US. So that way, I think there are a lot of people who will start getting connected with each other. All right. So moving on, let's summarize. Luigi is the only guy with the finance background. Wasim, Gunjan, Akshay, Susan have, some of you have Landmark in common, and Landmark still hires from us continually. All right. And so therefore we are talking retail, and from retail we have sort of moved on to retail straggling on from traditional channels to internet based channels. Now the great thing about I think who was it, Akshay, when you talked about the Shukran what do you call this thing, right? The loyalty program. And that actually is probably cross everything, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we are having primarily a retail. We are, okay, let's not forget Kalyan and also Akshay for that matter, starting off on HP and Kalyan with channels. So both of you have primarily been into channels. So from selling high net worth goods and white good like equivalents, okay, to more like the FMCGs. Of course, I can't say that. I wonder whether perfume comes under consumer durables or whether it comes under FMCG. It depends on how much you use it, I suppose. Right?
And also the region, maybe Middle East perfumes would be an FMCG.
Yeah, true.
That is true.
See, it kind of depends, because here it's perfumes or fragrances is actually part of the culture, which is very strong.
Right.
So it's not just the sprays that we know of. It's a lot more. Yeah.
True. So I'll not talk to you about when I went with the Japanese guys to France and they were buying 5-liter bottles of Chanel number 5. I mean, I wonder what they do with it. But nonetheless, so let's move on. Sorry for let's start with there are two major concerns or questions that most people when they join IBA have. What should I do there? And what should I do in order to get good placements? So if you look at the way I have structured it, I want you guys to sort of figure out or tell people what did you do in IBA. Now, there are certain things that you know, and between you and me, what happens in IBA remains in IBA. All right. So those things we will not, definitely underlining it, not discuss. All right. Subsequently, we talk about how our career has progressed. And see, one of the things that I have a problem with, and I'm sort of giving you hints around it, is that students seem to believe that there is an algorithm to success. So if I do this, then I will get a job in this. And when I get a job in this is how I will move and blah, blah, blah. And what I have seen across these 20 years of you guys is you have meandered. Okay, you have moved from one to the other, but in general, there are certain common traits that you have, because of which wherever you are thrown into, or wherever, whatever challenge you have taken, you have done well. And it might be a good idea to sort of highlight these things instead of saying do well in brand management course or something like that. Okay, but there is IBA as a experience is a way lot more than the classroom experience. All right, so that's something that I want you guys to talk about. And the third thing is, all of you have gone through the 2008 downturn, right? And we now have this 2020 downturn. Now, the parallels are there, the differences are there. That was a financial downturn, this was a medical downturn or an economic downturn. But ultimate thing is, the economies of various places have got impacted. And therefore, you guys were impacted. And therefore, you guys came up with certain strategies in terms of how to handle this. And there are lessons which are there in those strategies in terms of what our guys should do, especially the 1921 and the 2022 batch, because they will be right in the middle of it. In fact, the 2022 batch is lucky because they'll probably have a vaccine by 2021, and 2022, I think, hopefully things should look up. Okay. Okay, if not anything, we'll get Akshay to get some perfume over. All right, then. So therefore, what should they do? Reality. Okay, and don't become grandfathers when you give this gyan. Okay, please go back to your young age, etc., and talk to people at their level, not my level, in terms of what they should do these 2 years. Okay, so that they can do well in their post IBA scenario. Would that make sense?
Sure.
Yes, sure.
All right. So, because experiences are different for different people, so now since Susan is right up there, she can start. Okay, Susan, tell me, what did you do in IBA? What did you learn? Okay, and how did you become a person with such a spine that you actually landed up in the Middle East and then did extremely well? Now, I mean, I'm sorry to be sort of gender centric, but one did not expect Middle East to be something where you thrived very well, and you did a great job. So how and what?
Well, stereotypically speaking, I'm a Mallu. So this is
All
the place
right.
to
So
be for a
you're half
Malayali.
there anyway. All
Yeah,
right.
but then
Okay.
jokes apart. So for me, coming to IBA, I think was one of the experiences which it was the first time that I left home and I came to a new city. Initial days were a bit of a struggle to try and adjust and stay away from the family. But then eventually you make friends, and those friends are something which I'm sure everybody would vouch that even now you hold them very close. And then it kind of became like a family. It became like a home. That campus, it's such a beautiful campus. Staying there for 2 years was such an awesome privilege. I would say classes, yes, everybody attended their lectures. We all had to ensure that the attendances were kept, and all of that was there. So that was part of any B school. But I think IBA offered a lot to a lot of people in the field which they are interested in. Like we had a lot of clubs and people who were really passionate about each and every, be it dolphins, be it marketing, whatever it was. Everybody had an opportunity to do something more beyond the academics, beyond the education. uh, for me, it was mostly being part of the CRDT. I was part of the placement committee at that time, and that was a great experience for me because it gave me an opportunity to meet with a lot of companies. It gave me an opportunity to understand the batch which I was part of, and their strengths and their weaknesses. Perhaps at that point I didn't realize what it was all about, but then when I came uh, outside college is when I realized that what we were doing was pretty much a full-time job. So yeah, so I think IBA gave me an opportunity to experience firsthand of what it's going to be outside. But then, yes, when you look at it that way, when you go outside, the world outside is way more tougher. I mean, college is one thing. When you go outside, you start facing reality. It's way more tougher. And as for me coming to Dubai, Sharaf DG as a company came to campus at that point, and I was kind of interested in retail. So yes, I applied and I got through. Parents were supportive enough to say, okay, go ahead. You don't have to restrict yourself to, one of the cities in India. You can go do what you want. So that helped me get to Dubai. And one more thing about my batch was basically we passed out in 2009. So 2008 is when we saw the downturn, and we saw a lot of companies which had come on campus came back and said, sorry, we cannot honor the offers that we've given you. And, we saw a lot of those struggles. So at the end of the day, it was about grabbing onto one good opportunity that you got. And of course, fighting through it. I wouldn't say it was easy. It was fighting through it. And one thing which I kept saying to myself at that point was, yes, it was very difficult. But what I kept telling myself was, I will not quit because I worked too hard to be here. So I think that was one of the things which kept me going, and which is the reason why I'm here today.
Great, Susan. Thank you very much. And that was a very nice story. Can you highlight how did you get to be so resilient? I mean, I can see that, yes, parents were supportive, but parents can't really help you when things go wrong during your corporate life, during your professional aspects. So what is it that you did, or how did you get this resilience, the ability to sort of bounce back? Tough question, I know. And it's like you really have to go back into the past to figure that out. And guys, warning to all of you, you better start thinking. I can see Gunjan looking up. Okay.
No, the only thing that comes to my mind, and this is a conversation which I kept having to myself, and that was telling myself, because getting into specifics, I had a very difficult boss. My first boss was the toughest person that I've worked with, and I think he did everything he could to break me. But what I kept telling myself was, I've come here because of all my hard work, and I cannot let another person's behavior affect my future. So that was, I was very clear about that. So yes, whatever said and done, I knew I had to, I had to push through it. And when you push through it is when you move ahead and you get further opportunities. And then it's never easy, I would say. I don't think the last 10 years I've ever found it difficult. Every job has had its own challenges. Sometimes it's actually the work. Sometimes it is the environment around you. Sometimes it is the superior. Sometimes it is the subordinate. So at every given point of time, issues are there. But I think it's a very personal decision that you make. It's easy for us to say that, okay, I can't do this anymore, leave it, I'm going to look for something else. But I guess it's a very personal decision that you have to make, and then you have to say that this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to quit.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You can't change people, but you can sort of change the way you want to react to it. And that choice is always there with you. One of them is obviously the flight part of it. Okay, chuck it all away and say, okay, I'm going. Okay, but the other is the fight part of it, as to exactly what do I do in order to fight it out without creating a conflagration which will burn everybody. So that's a tough one. And congratulations, Susan, okay, for doing this. So moving to Kalyan, I'm going backwards this time so that I have Akshay and Wasim and Luigi and Gunjan all thinking, "Arey boss, isko better karna padega dialogue mein," etc. All right, Kalyan. How about you? I know your struggles with respect to IBM and channel chain sales, etc. So tell me, what did you do in IBA and how did that mold you?
Yeah, sure, sir. So IBA, definitely it's one of the a place where I learned how corporate structure looks like. So having the clubs, etc. So I don't know, many of you may not know. I think, like I say, I'm part of the IT club, right? So right from the beginning, when I started my journey with the IBA, right? So my vision or my future is very clear that I want to make my career in IT. Right. So, but then there is a little bit of confusion in terms of what is in IT, right? So, what can we do in IT? Because my bachelor's is I'm a computer science engineer. But then once I do MBA in information technology, what exactly do I do? Should I be a solution architect? Should I be a technology seller? Or I could. So there are so many confusions when I started my journey. But then thanks to all the professors, including Chandrakant sir, who gave us more clarity in terms of what exactly we could expect in the IT career. So I started my journey immediately after passing out from IBA in Reddington, right? So right from there till now, it's been 14 years now. I'm still managing the IBM business. I have changed the companies. I have moved to different countries. I've handled multiple regions, but then my core strength is still around IBM, right? So that is something which I've been doing from last 14 years, and I stick to where I am specialized in, right? So that is something which I can say that I've learned in IBA.
True. All right. Thank you, Kalyan. Moving upwards, Wasim. Wasim, you have to unmute, yeah? All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, hearing Kalyan speak and you're like, yaar, meri theme le liya isne. So I'm going to try and answer differently, but it's more or less on the lines what Kalyan just mentioned. So I came in to IBA knowing that I wanted to specialize in marketing, but I hadn't figured out that I wanted to be in media. And to be honest, I sort of had, brand management intrigued me. I wanted to sort of get there. But when you actually start doing, when I was in IBA, start realizing that, brand management profiles or even, specializations are more towards the tier one sort of B schools. It still remains true, by the way. And I call it corporate classism somehow. Because some job descriptions
there
will
is
say,
an element of elitism that is there.
correct,
Yes, that's true.
correct. So I mean, given that was a challenge, I was like, no, okay, fine. I find myself here in this situations. How do you make best of it? So I focused a lot on marketing. My minor was international business as well, and somehow I got interested in the media side of it, the communications side of it, the promotion side of the 4 Ps of marketing, sort of. So then I focused on figuring out what companies come in and what I need to build my portfolio around to be able to get into media. And I figured it was just a couple of companies that used to come at that time when we were getting placed at the end of 2007 to the beginning of 2008. Just one company came, and it was scary because everybody said, are you sure you just want to attend this one interview? I said yes, because I have prepared, I have made myself ready for this is what I want to get out with. So my learning at IBA was sort of, no matter the external circumstances, you have to have a very strong inward system to depend upon. Build your own belief system, strengths and values. No matter where you are, no matter what you do, you have that to rely on. And that's what sort of, I started off, like you said, in the middle of the financial crisis in 2008. Packages were not great. Clients were not spending. It was a difficult time to start a job. But I was very, very lucky that I started off handling a big telecom brand in India, which is Vodafone. I had a great team. We had a lot of fun. And that sort of, I said, okay, I was so anxious about not getting into brand management, not getting in, a bigger package or whatever that was. But then that was the start toward what has been a 12-year plus enjoyable journey, which has taken me across countries, has helped me work with a lot of big brands, make contributions that are visible to people. So that's been, so my takeaway there is about building a strong, self. So that's something that I learned from IBA.
Yeah, believing in yourself is a very tough one, though, Wasim, because, and let me now jump a bit of a generational thing. Since social media has become so predominant, this comparisons, this, I mean, right from when our parents have been comparing us in terms of, look at that person, he's doing so great, what are you doing? To teachers also doing the same thing, to colleagues doing the same thing. And then we have the social media where everybody is like posting pictures of they being at the top of the world, etc. So believing in yourself, okay, and I'm sure that when you apply to only one company, there would be 1,000 guys saying, "Arey yaar, kya bewkufi kar rahe ho," etc., etc. Okay, putting all your eggs in one basket.
Sure.
That's really commendable, Wasim, to
Thank you.
do that.
Thank
Wow.
you.
All right. Yeah, even I'm learning more about all this. I mean, very frankly, with your batches, I was not so tightly involved. Okay, so it is always a great idea to look at the batches which were somewhere from 2007 to 2011, etc., because I come to know a lot about what was going on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So great. Thanks, Wasim, for this. Gunjan,
Yeah,
it is getting tougher and tougher now.
that's the best thing.
That's the best thing.
So
That's true.
yeah, see, one of my biggest takeaways from IBA has been that this is the first time that majority of us are, exposed to a cultural diversity. So you're not in your own hometown, you're not with your family, you're not having your own closely knit ecosystem around you. So this is the first real opportunity wherein you can show yourself what you can do, how you can handle people, because that is what is going to take you far in life. Your degrees, your acads, this might take you to a certain level, but beyond that, it's how you're handling the people around you, how you're understanding the dynamics, how you are utilizing the dynamics to come to some particular objective which you set out. So this is one of the important takeaways that I feel is there from IBA. The other important exposure that we can get, or I got from IBA, was about these clubs. Through Cosmos, I was interacting with a lot of peers. I went for a lot of business quizzes to a lot of universities, a lot of colleges. You meet people, you network, because I believe that the best part about IBA is it's a college which is 15-20 kilometers away from the city, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we network with the right people. These 2 years are a bridge. In this time you need to plan, you need to have a discipline which can scale you to the next level in the real world. So in 2007, after I passed out, I joined as a management trainee. Although from the college I was I recruited for as a consultant, but being the passion being with Spar or with retail, I joined a retail company. In a year there was a downturn. Now a downturn, there's a fundamental correlation between good days, bad days, and good economic cycle and a bad economic cycle. Whereas a good day or a bad day is individual centric. In a good cycle or a bad cycle, everybody is in the same boat to a large extent. So we need not fear that, look, something is happening only to me. So that, a lot of time what happens is, in a bad cycle we feel that, look, this is happening, the sky is falling only on me. But that's not the case. The advantage that we will have is the resilience that we have imbibed in our 2 years through a college or an institute like IBA. So it's the resilience coupled with the passion, which is your job, that is going to decide how quickly you sail ahead in life. At the same time, there is nothing, to be honest, like a bad cycle. Like even in this COVID time, while the world is sinking or cribbing, you have got Jeff Bezos who is earning around 100 billion in the last 4 months, or you've got a Mukesh Ambani who has jumped into the fifth richest club of the world. So it's all about how you visualize where you want to go. It's all about how you quickly strategize. And like Mr. Chandrakant said, it is how you adapt. Adaptability is the key, whether it is your job, college, or even your life. You will not have another you around you. So it is you versus everybody else, and then you got to get your things out of them. So do not feel bogged down. Do not feel that something is going wrong with your life. It's just that maybe either you are not at the right place, your time is going to come in, or maybe you are earlier than where you should be, and that is why you feel a little lost. So don't get depressed if there are things going not your way around you. Maybe you are too early, or maybe, you are in a different place.
Interesting, Gunjan. Lot of things that you brought in. It was a very nice thing that you said that essentially we have to adjust in IBA with lots of cultures because people come from all over India. People have not stayed together with each other, and I am sure certain roomies were at loggerheads with each other for the entire set of until they separated. Okay, but ultimately you learn to tolerate, you learn to adjust, and you learn to sort of make do. And that I think is a very important aspect. Like, how do I take what is given to us and make something out of it? So that was very nice. And now we come to Luigi and Akshay. And I hope that you have also been looking at some of the questions out there. And I do believe that some of us are also answering the questions as it is. So I do think that the questions are sort of hinging around the uncertainty. All right. And somewhere, Akshay, Luigi, if you can track, I mean, I also know how uncertain things were for you at that time. You were probably the third batch coming in. IBA was relatively unknown. Okay, and I do remember discussing the sounds of elephants and leopards and a few snakes here and there because it was a jungle out there. Okay, and you guys like did the Tarzan thing also while you came to class and uh, uh, pretty much stuck around. And very frankly, it is with the initial batches that I'm generally very thankful to because they created the reputation what IBA has right now. And I think you guys have handled a hell lot of uncertainty as compared to anybody else, right? From the fact that you made a decision to join IBA, that by itself was uncertain, right? And to now. So, Luigi, over to you and Akshay chip in.
Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you.
So I'll start off. So I knew I wanted to always be in finance. So when I joined IBA, like Sir Chandrakant said, a new institute, but I knew that finance is what I wanted and finance is what I'm going to be in. The finance industry, colleagues, is a very regulated industry, a lot of stress, volatility, dynamics. And like Sir Chandrakant said, it has gone through a lot of cycles itself. We had the financial crisis where a lot of big companies, Lehman Brothers, Merrill Lynch collapsed. One of them were my dream companies. We had then Brexit, which went on where whoever imagined UK is going to leave the European Union. And now we're facing the COVID situation. And through all this, there's a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainty, but IBA played a very important role in what I've done over the years. The first thing I have to tell you all is I was able to cope with all of this. And like all my other colleagues on the panel said, is because IBA creates that culture in you gradually over the 2 years. It's going to either make you or break you. So get prepared for that. And I say both of these words in a positive way. If it makes you, it will make you appreciate when you succeed. And when it breaks you, it will also help you learn how to cope up with undesirable situations. So that's something which always has remained with me right from my IBA days. Whatever outcome, I knew how to handle it. Education. Now, I'm probably, not everyone says it, but I will say this. Education plays an important role. And like Gunjan rightly said, yes, it gives a good foundation. So when you're coming to IBA, I took education very seriously. So it'll give you that strong foundation. But remember, today's world is not only that. IBA allowed me to grow holistically. Today's corporate world, we talk about emotional intelligence and emotional strength. Trust me, guys, IBA will give you these tools to develop that also. So take advantage of that. And remember, it's not only your teachers who are going to give you knowledge, it's also your colleagues, your batchmates, your seniors out there. All of them have come to this institute. Trust me, they're strong in what they do. Learn from everyone. I learned from my entire batch. Another important thing which IBA did for me was the attitude I've got in life. You throw anything at me, whether I know it or don't know it. Trust me, I'm going to tell you I can do it. And at a very young age, when I moved to Uganda from India, a big step I took to move to Africa to head one of the largest private banks. It was the attitude I had in those 2 years at IBA which helped me succeed and face up people who are way senior to me in age. So attitude is important, and IBA will give you the attitude. It's up to you to grab onto it. And the one thing which I will say, which I think Wasim rightly said, is and even Kalyan, the corporate culture. Treat IBA as a company. It's an institute which is going to impart knowledge to you, but it's a company. Treat it as a company, learn from it, and learn all the corporate, there are a lot of nuances which go into a company. Learn all of that, because when you go into the corporate world, you're not moving in uncharted territories. Akshay, before I give it to you, I just want to add on this thing. Expectations versus reality in my job. Guys, I believe I fared pretty well in IBA. I was a finance major. I took the lowest campus package, which was offered to me. I got a lot of packages, the highest, lowest package, and lowest, because it's like who said? I can't get Kali who said it, but someone, Wazim rightly said. I knew that whatever you start off with, if I knew what I wanted at the end, I will get to there. And trust me, guys, from the package I accepted to where I am. Remember, from all the packages offered at the lowest, but today where I am, is because of that decision I took, which I took consultation from Mr. Manish and Mr. Chandrakant, and they said, follow your dreams, money will follow. Keep that in mind. Money will always follow if you follow what you enjoy. So my experience over my career has been a roller coaster. And remember, we all go on roller coasters, not because we're scared of it, because we enjoy the thrill. So my experiences has been a roller coaster, which I enjoyed. Whenever there were downturns, I fought through it. IBA taught me how to do it. My colleagues taught me how to do it. And life has taught me how to do it. And when you come to the peaks, you learn how to appreciate that. Akshay?
Yeah, you just summed up a very nice statement towards the end. Follow your dreams. I think I just want to say this to everyone. I come from the city of joy. I come from Kolkata, and I'm a guy who was a YMCA athlete, and I did my entire schooling and college in sports quota back in the days. I didn't know what MBA had in store for me, to be very honest, right? And when Mr. Sudarshan, our ex-dean, he met me and he said, okay, this is what it is. And I said, okay, let me do the usual plunge. And there we were, as Chandu sir said, 0305 batch, sprawling campus in the middle of nowhere. We could see the Art of Living Dome right next to us. And I was like, oh, wow, there's some bit of civilization. But then, to be very honest, if you ask the entire 0305 batch, none of them had clarity in the first 3 to 6 months. What's going to happen? How's the placement? Because we were all kind of lingering back on what our seniors were telling us, what was the previous kind of experiences. But then something different happened to us, because I think each and every one in the 0305, again, with all due respect to every batch, as Chandu sir and MJ sir would say this, we were pretty much a batch of first in a lot of things. First time we ever had something called a placement team, which was a CRDT back in the days. I don't know what it's called now, right? Headed by, God bless him, Quentin Raja. Then we were the first batch where we actually entered into Management Fest to take part and, win laurels and awards. We just didn't go and participate in Management Fest and come back. Then there were the first time we ever established clubs. People keep talking about clubs. I still remember we had a crazy bunch of people in the marketing team, because I majored in marketing and minored in international business. Gaurav Joshi and Siddharth and Mrityunjay, Shiva Prasad. These are some of my eccentric colleagues, and I would call them. We said one day, sitting after one of those late night classes of Chandu, like, you know what, you're marketing guys, why don't we form a club? And the idea, and after like almost 1 week of rigorous work and some crazy fireworks and weird stuff that you keep seeing in pictures, Campus Ignite was born. And then we had 2 batches going and participating in Management Fest. I think what I'm trying to say is we were a batch where, a lot of things happened. A lot of things were not certain, but we held it strong. Some people knew that, what they wanted to do. Some people had a very clear vision. End of the day, I think it was like-minded people coming together. Yes, there are times of uncertainty, but at the same time, you should focus on what you want. That's something which is very, it's very benefit to human beings. You know what you want. Let me tell you a bit about myself. I mean, I did my doc training course even before joining IBA from Kennel Club of India in Madras, right? Oh yeah, those are the memories. Thank you, Chandu sir, for that lovely sharing of the image. So before even coming, my entire mom's side of the family is from media. And my mom herself, she joined Times of India as an intern. She retired out of them. So for them, it was one job, loyalty towards one workplace. I don't know, he started in Birla's and he retired in Birla's, So there was that kind of a mentality, that kind of a mindset. And when I came in, I always wanted to pursue my passion, which is still there. I am a certified dog trainer. One day, very soon, inshallah, as we say in this region, I will go off to a farm and, feed dogs, and I'm going to be happy doing that. Money will follow. But then what happened was in IBA, multicultural, it was a cultural kind of a melting pot. We had people from all walks of life, all parts of India coming together, having our little kind of, meals, not in the mess, outside in Kanive. If you all know what I'm talking about, there was a little bit of outside. So those were the days where, we really struggled, water problems. But having said all of that, I think the way NJ sir and Chandu sir and a few of our other professors, be Mr. Arvind Dholakia or Ramesh sir or Chitra ma'am, we really enjoyed our times. The most important thing I say is to enjoy what you're doing. I'm going to tell you all something. It's very strange, but I'm very proud of it. I'm not shy of it. I was not placed, all right? I had a specific industry I want to get into. I was the last guy to leave campus, and I think NJ sir was the only guy who gave me permission to live in the campus even after everyone had left. The new batch started trickling in. So when people are asking uncertainty, look at me. I'm telling you, I stayed back in campus without a job, and I was like, you know what? No, it's not that I want to attend every placement interviews. I had a dream of getting into advertising, so I waited, I worked upon it, and with all the mentorship from all the staff and management, I got into mechanics at that point in time in Bangalore. So yeah, I mean, you just got to be a little bit more stronger, and there is no shame in going through your lows, because lows teach you how to come out of the trenches and become stronger. So I think IPA, mentally, physically, and most importantly, it created a bond between all of us. It's quite prevalent even today, where once we meet up, we catch up, we just catch up on old times. We don't talk about what's happening today. You see, that's the kind of connection that we have. So I always say, even someone asked a question, AI and bots in this era, I said, guys, you need to understand there is a human perspective, there's a human touch. That in building relationships should not, be something which you should avoid. Build relationships. Relationships actually make you stronger. They take you places, and they make you believe in self, right? So yeah, that's a little bit of my experience in IBA, and I owe it to a lot, because it taught me how to survive. It taught me how to navigate through tough times, and can't complain.
Nice. We have moved to 520. That's a very interesting one. This relationships bit, Akshay, is a very interesting one. See, many of these guys say, I am an introvert, what should I do? And things like that. So I'm starting again from the top now, going downwards. Where very frankly, from what I have heard, I mean, 90% of the people in the world are introverts anyway. All right. So, and I'm sure there are introverts in this August panel out here. So, would you be able to tell people what should they do in IBA? Okay, this fear, of public speaking, the fear of meeting people, the fear of being judged, so to speak, and especially added to that, the introvertism part of it. Okay, what should people do? How should people handle it?
It's a good question, Chandu sir. To let every participant out here a little bit of background on my own self, I used to have speech problems till I was 9 years old. I took speech therapy classes till almost the age of 13. And trust me, again, I'm very proud of it. There's nothing to be shy of. I couldn't speak in front of people. I would freeze. I would take part in my nativity plays in my St. Thomas's school back in Kolkata, where I would just freeze on stage. Yes, all of these happened. I would not mutter, enough courage to kind of speak to people in social circles. But then you got to listen to yourself. Like, you just cannot be sitting behind a wall. You are more than anything. Trust me. And people start comparing machines and people. I think you as a human being, as an individual, every one of us possesses more power than the machines. I think we are conditioned in a way where we can actually direct things the way we want them to be. It's just the mindset and the attitude, I mean, it's not about saying, no, I will do this in this scenario, I will do that in that scenario. Be open, be honest to yourself. I think that's the face in the mirror that you want to see, saying that you're speaking upfront, you know what you're speaking, you know what you want. I don't see there is any fear in IBA. Trust me, you probably guys are in the best hands possible in terms of academics. I think as I think Luigi or someone else said, the world goes beyond academics at times. You got to understand there is a whole wide of experiences in life awaiting you. So open up. Yes, you might be introvert, you might be shy, but speak your brain or speak your heart out. Again, language should not be a barrier. I always say this. Yes, some of us could be, not so good in English. Some of us could be more.
All right, Akshay, we'll have to cut you off a bit. um, I understand this aspect. I mean, the first thing probably is to admit that you are scared.
Yeah.
Okay, and then sort of move forward on that. I mean, that's a very interesting part. Okay, so Luigi, would you like to add to that? Akshay, if you can mute.
Yeah, sure, sir. So, okay, team, let me put this fact. I'm an introvert and I'm a perfectionist. Both of them don't go well. As a perfectionist, let me tell you all one advice, which actually I'm still working on after 15 years of IBA. Because our whole life we say you have to be perfect, be the best. It's competitive. Give up that habit of practice makes perfect, and follow this new mantra: practice makes progress. Because with every step you take ahead with progress, you are happy with what you achieved. Because with perfection, when you reach perfection, you say, "Oh, this can be done better," and you are never happy. So practice makes progress is something which I've adopted in life over the years to get over that introvert aspect. Another thing is, for the introvert, you don't open up so easily. I always enjoyed presenting and stuff, and being introvert is very difficult. But like Akshay said, if you keep quiet in the corner, no one will notice you. And if you are not noticed, you cannot blame the world if you don't do well. So speak, communicate, forget the language. If I speak in Hindi, I'm from Mumbai. If you hear my Hindi, you will laugh. But if I have to speak Hindi for my life, I will speak. So always something which I adopt is always strive to be your best. Don't be the best, just be your best. If you be your best, trust me, a lot of things become easy. The unknown, when you face it, you can overcome it. So always try to be your best. And lastly, I would like to say also on this is, you do not have to be good at everything. But what you are good at and what you believe you're good at, make it known. And trust me, when you're good at something, you will know it. You will know it and you will be so confident. And when you get that confidence, whether you're an introvert, a perfectionist, a type A personality, it doesn't matter. You overcome it all.
Thank you. Moving on. From Luigi, let's go to Gunjan.
Yeah, I think.
Are you an introvert, Gunjan?
I am I was a little less now, but I think what you said, Mr. Chandrakant, is right. The first thing to do is accept that, you are an introvert and there's no harm in that. I came out of Gujarat after my engineering just because I wanted to come out of my introvertness, because I knew I am an introvert, and if I stay in the same ecosystem, I'm not going to have a chance to come over it. So the first thing to do is accept it. What I did to come over introvertness was to focus on my strengths. Not necessary that whatever you are doing is something which is not the right way to do. So focus on your strength, succeed in that. Like I said before, these 2 years are your bridge to the real world. Make mistakes here. You are an introvert, so what? You get 2 years head start to come over it. So start presenting, start talking. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong, and let people make fun of you. I've always been made fun of in my entire, because I've got the craziest of ideas, the weirdest of things which have come possibly in each of the companies I've worked. But this is exactly what has given success. So if your introvertness is out of your apprehension, whether you're right or wrong, it's not going to be right. You must make mistakes. You must fall in order to be stronger. And during IBA, I had an opportunity in one of my presentations where I was dressed up like a New Zealand Maori, and I entered through the auditorium window and did a hukawu dance, or that step in the classroom. So being an introvert, that was the best thing which I had done. But these kind of things, wild things, your passion, where your heart tells you what to do, are going to help you come over it. I can share the link for that particular episode of my life, which really turned around things for me. So make most of these 2 years. Don't let a minute go slip by. Work on your weaknesses while you focus on your strength. Don't be mitigated or don't be dejected focusing on your weaknesses. You all have got strengths. Build on them.
I think craziness matters.
Yeah.
Okay, people, when they don't understand you, they call you crazy. Okay, but when you succeed, then then you become like a seer sort of thing.
Yes.
All right, moving forward, Wasim, what do you think?
I think a lot of great points have been made, but I'm going to reiterate one point which Luigi mentioned, that if you don't stand up for yourself, nobody's going to notice you. So yes, I mean, again, I think we are a series of introverts. I don't know if the rest of the team would change that, but again, I'm an introvert as well. But when I'm in my zone, when you see me in a corporate setup, I would not believe myself. But that has come out of, you know, the work that we put in through. So treat these 2 years as, the last step before you get out into the real world, because here people may make fun of you. It's okay. People, you may falter, you may make huge mistakes, you may embarrass yourself, but in the real world, it's got real consequences, right? So I would rather use these 2 years. Okay, fine, tell me, this is my learning platform, this is where I want to be crazy, I want to try what I can be, and hopefully that sort of, gives me the way to come around my limitation, because largely introverts are, they say, okay, there's some issues being an introvert. So I would say use these 2 years as your last platform before you get out of the real world, because that is where you have consequences. And again, I think Akshay mentioned this about having speech problems. I remember myself, I didn't have medically diagnosed speech problems, but I used to have issues when it came to diction, when it came to pronunciations, etc. I remember standing, and this is very cliched, I remember standing in front of the mirror with a newspaper, reading out aloud, just like any newsreader would do. And that's one of the things that really, really helped me. The other things is use your presentations well in the lectures that you guys attend, to fix these things, because again, like I said, out there is the real world. You'll get cut off, and if you
Presentations is your way of life. I mean, even when you get married, you probably have to give up PowerPoint stuff or something like that, right? Wasim, I'm going to stop you. And
Sure.
guys, there are some questions which are sort of coming up. So people who are sort of free can look at those questions. Kalyan, Susan, something to add from an introvertism perspective?
Yeah, I think most of the points are covered, sir. I think very well spoken. But when it comes to me, even I was an introvert the first couple of months in IBA, because that is just out of my hometown. And when I look at the people around me, I used to think that I'm left out, right? So everybody seems to be look like good and they are the best, etc. But then I started realizing where I am best at, right? So that's when I looked at IT, and then before I passed out from IBA, people started calling us like an IT guru, right? So focus on your best, guys, and I'm sure you will do the best. So that's the only suggestion from my side.
That makes sense, Kalyan. Core competency, so to speak. Yeah. Susan?
I would just like to add one thing. It is basically to figure out what it is that scares you, what it is that makes you uneasy, and then taking every opportunity and doing that very thing so that you face it and eventually you'll get over it. So that's all I would like to say.
Yeah, people are scared to admit that they are afraid of something, but here probably it makes a lot of sense to say, okay, guys, I am scared of this. Now, find me a snake so that I can hold it. Okay, so that I can get rid of my fear of snakes, etc. All right, that's nice. A last few moments now. This is a very interesting one, and I don't want you to become very sagacious out here. Okay, but and starting with Susan, what advice do you have for people? What should they do? I mean, we have handled two major parts of it. One is, okay, what is IB all about? And the second is this fear of, public speaking and the fear of judgment and things like that. Now, over and beyond that, because some of the questions that have been asked are also about the uncertainty and what should we do. So, do you have something to say? It's a tough one, I know.
See, what I would say is, given the uncertainty, and probably there's going to be a wait and this time. So one of the advice which I would say, or which is something which I probably will do and I'm doing as well, is to improvise yourself, work on yourself, see what it is you can do better, do some courses, keep training keep doing more stuff, learn more. because eventually, because anyway you're waiting, so if you're waiting, might as well make that, put that time to a good use, because it'll come in handy some or the other way, in future. So that is one thing which we can do. Also, I would say staying informed, knowing what's happening around us everywhere. That also actually helps you in situations like you said, for introvertism. You'll always have something to speak about. So I would say work on your own skill, be patient, and at the end of the day, we've all worked hard to be where we are, and continue doing that.
That's a very
Continue
interesting thing,
doing that.
Susan, you said. People come to me and say, this is my weakness. How do I get rid of it? And I keep telling them, I'm glad you know what your weakness is. Keep it there. Now focus on your strengths. Because it makes more sense for you to make your strength stronger than trying to figure out how much time to spend on a weakness. You remove one weakness, another weakness will come in. You might as well stay with certain things that you know and sort of work around it. Very nice. Thank you, Susan. And going backwards, Kalyan, any
Yeah, I
advice for
think,
the future?
yeah, upskilling and reskilling is definitely important at this point of time, because this current crisis has
I
disrupted.
think give some example of what do you mean by upskilling. And this is jargon now.
No, to make it very simple, so in our team, right? So I manage a team of about 45 people across the region, right? So this COVID situation has disrupted every industry, including IT. But then we still see there is a lot of potential coming from various technologies and all. But what we have specifically introduced is LinkedIn Learning, right? So that is something which we as an organization has implemented to all the employees in the region, so that they can start learning various skills, right? It's not just about learning soft skills or management skills. Wherever you are best in, right, and you want to upgrade your skills from there, so use LinkedIn Learning is one of the greatest tool, I would say, to upskill yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. Moving up, Wasim.
So yes, so I agree with Susan and Kalyan to sort of, you have to upskill yourself at all times, stay relevant at all times. I'm going to approach this from a slightly different angle. Okay, you'll do courses, you'll do good at your work, you will sort of, be informed, stay in touch with everything that's happening. All of this, use this to figure out what value you want to add, one, to yourself, and two, to the company that you're working for, or even for your own business, for example. No matter where you find yourself, when you recognize and when you find out, or rather have this sort of, this is the value that I bring to the table, I think that sort of helps you, cover a lot of uncertainty, because clearly you demonstrate to people around you that this is the person that adds stated value to the position and is indispensable for us. So use all that ecosystem that is available to you, e-learning, use your own people around you, etc., your teams, etc., to drive yourself to sort of figure out what you want to add and what you want to bring to the table.
That's great, Wasim. The current 2019, I'm plugging for them right now. Sorry, Gunjan, 1 second. That's okay. I mean, hang around. They have actually started doing a lot of live projects, because this work from home has allowed them to do a huge amount of internet based live projects, and they're adding a hell lot of stuff to the resume. In fact, I'm flabbergasted with the amount of training and the live projects that these guys are putting on LinkedIn. Okay, and I'm truly enjoying the way they are creating a history on LinkedIn, instead of like at the last minute trying to like plug in stuff and trying to show that they are God's gift to mankind. So it's great. All right, Gunjan, what do you say?
Yeah, I think what the batch needs to understand is they need to lead not only their lives but of the lives of people around them. Do not assume that people will know what you expect them to do. You need to make it explicitly clear what you are expecting, to be sure that things are not getting into rough weather with people who are immediately in your ecosystem. I believe that you must bite more than you can chew. Never go for small stuff. Be ambitious, even if you are not you are not ready for something, you must always go for it. This is how you are going to grow as an individual. Build a parachute after jumping off a plane. Don't build, don't have a parachute, test it and then jump. Nobody is born a prime minister. It's somebody decides that, look, I'm ready to lead, and that's when he starts aiming for it. Be creative. There is only creativity which is going to differentiate you from the rest of the people around you. And this is what the ability to connect the dots in whatever ecosystem you are is what is going to help you succeed in life. Walk the talk. Do not be casual. What you say, you must do, whether it's in your career or it's in your personal life or with your kids also. People will not take you seriously if you just talk and then don't deliver on that. Be resilient. Learn machine learning and artificial intelligence. Even if you are a non-technical background, these are like PowerPoint and Word. You will not be able to escape from them. Your kids are going to have them in primary sections. You will be at that time embarrassed if you are not on top of it. And
okay, you're scaring me now. Okay, so now you're going to say teachers are going to become irrelevant at some juncture. All right.
I don't think so. Teachers, the human element is never going to get out of the world, but it's just that it's going to get more efficient. And these are like tools which you need to know how to ride in order to be better off in the life. Be active on social media, which is LinkedIn. I have not got any IBA student connecting to me, or I don't know about the panelists over here. Nobody is active on LinkedIn. And when I say active on LinkedIn, it's not just about connections. It's commenting. It's about publishing. It's about broadcasting your views. Make a good profile. Like Mr. Chandrakant said, all of you are doing a lot of these courses. Start highlighting them on the LinkedIn platform, and document your endeavors with multimedia. Take videos, take photos, make story. It's all about storytelling, and storytelling is another skill which you must have. Do not leave a digital trace in terms of if you this is an age where you will you have come out, you are in zero gravity zone, but make sure there's no digital trace which might be otherwise hooking back to you in the future. So be very careful. This is the tech era. Make sure you whatever you do, you are inclusive, inclusive of your parents, inclusive of yourself, your spouse. A lot of in the coming couple of years, you all will get married, you will have your own family, but make sure you can go as far as your spouse is going to walk with you. So do not take it easy, do not take it light. Spare equal or more time to make sure that your family is there around you and growing with you. Otherwise,
right,
it's going to be really
I'm going to interrupt you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff that you said, and a few things that held me. That walk the talk is a very interesting one, because when you walk, you fall. When you fall, you need to get up.
Yes.
So ज्ञान सब दे देते हैं, but actually walking the ज्ञान is a very, very tough thing. Okay, and that's something that has always held well. All right, Luigi and Akshay, you are the last of the lot. Okay, and we are also coming to the close end of it, and you are the oldest of the lot. So you have seen the world a lot more than the rest of the folks have. Okay, so tell us the future now.
Okay,
Hotel.
guys. Thank you, sir. So all the panel have raised important points of what to expect. Since you all guys are going to come soon into the institute, I'm just going to focus on that bit, because I think it's very important, because you're all coming from whatever backgrounds, BCom, science, arts, chartered accountants, engineers, you name it, you're going to have them all there. First thing, be confident. Second, work hard. And more importantly, work smart. Working hard all the time doesn't get you results. Working smart will get you. Guys and girls, you're investing 2 years of your life, your family, yourself, you're paying hard-earned money for this experience. It's not a holiday. When you step on the campus, trust me, like Akshay and all my fellow batchmates have said, the campus is amazing, but you're not there for a holiday. You're there to slog it out to add value for that money you have spent. So slog it out, work hard. Your professors, guys, the one advice, come with a sponge and go to every professor and drain whatever knowledge you can. Get them tired. Sorry, sir. Sorry, Manoj, I have to say this. Drain whatever knowledge you can from them. And they are doing this for that very purpose because they want to educate the future generation. So they will tell you when to come and when not to come. But always take knowledge from them because these guys have got the academic experience, they've got the corporate experience, and more importantly, they've got the life experience. A very important point which I want to raise. When we all do our admission, to apply for MBA, we all do the exams, and every institute which I've gone to do this practice, they say, which is the institute you want to be part of? And many a time we'll mention IIM. I mean, a lot of our professors are from IIM, and I have high respect for all the IIMs. But remember, we are from IBA, Indian Business Academy, and I'm proud to say that. Today, I work with people who report to me, who I report to, who come to me for assistance, all ex-IIMs, and my seniors too. My boss is IIM, but they all know my value because I come from an institute which has made me who I am and which they appreciate of that. So I'm very proud of that, and each one should be proud of that. Have
Thank
fun.
you.
So one last point.
All right, Luigi.
Gunjan raised a very important point. Your background. I'm from the finance industry. Whichever field you are, be sure your background is clear in the sense whatever's happened, fine. But a digital trail, try to, the past is the past. From today, make the change. Because in today's world, your history determines also a lot of the future, but you can make that change. Do it now.
All right. Thank you, Akshay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it short and sweet in the interest of time, Chandu sir. I think, you know what, a lot of people have summarized it very beautifully and articulated well. My little 2 cents on this one, I think each and every one of you, first and foremost, know what you want and know what you want to achieve. That's the number one point that you should have in your mind. It's important to create very clear goals on how you want to achieve what you want, right? The third part I would say is learn to prioritize. Sometimes we end up doing things which may not be of the highest priority. So prioritizing is very important. The fourth point I would say is, ask for help when it's required, when it's necessary. Do not shy away. Do not think that we or you know it all. There's always help around the corner. You just got to ask for help, right? Most importantly, I think everyone has said this, pursue what you know you're good at, pursue your interest. Do not let your passion die away. That's very important. I think one of the important part is, you have amazing mentors, amazing faculty. Ask, go get help in terms of, what is the right way to approach certain things. I would say once you step into the work atmosphere, it's very important. I've realized this almost after 18, 19 years of working, a work-life balance. That's very important. Maybe it might not hit you in the first few years of working, but I think always maintaining a healthy work-life balance is super critical. And lastly, I go back to my same old dialogue of saying, build relationships. I think that takes you a long way. You're not alone. You have to build relationships. It's always good to have a coalition. It's always good to have a network. And keep talking, guys. And I think each and every one of you will shine. You have the right platform. You have the right institute to guide you and the right set of beautiful minds and people to help you along your journey.
Well said, Akshay. Just to summarize this, I will add to the relationship thing. Kalyan, you know Arvind Krishna. All right. Now, he is my batchmate. Okay. The head of Airtel is my batchmate, actually my junior. These are relationships, and even when we talk to them right now, and I'm sure when you talk to Akshay and Luigi, I still remember them as students. All right. And I still talk to them the same way. And sometimes Gunjan separately messaged me, and I got a bit scared of Gunjan. Ke, yaar, ye to bada aadmi ho gaya, kya hoga mera? Gunjan said, nahin, it's all fine and all that. You will remember your colleagues the same way as they were in IBA. And whatever you did in IBA with them, it remains with you. It does not change. All right. So making that relationship is a very, very important thing, because that is going to really help you a lot in your future. The second thing that Luigi also brought up was, okay, pay your teachers. Okay, fine. It's fine. There are a lot of students who are already asking me to foretell the future and things like that. The point is that different teachers will give you different perspectives based on where they came from. And it's very important for you to realize that nobody has the formula and everybody has a different way of looking at things. But ultimately, the decision has to be made by you. Okay, how do you want to take it forward? And whatever we say, I mean, sometimes we'll be wrong, sometimes we'll be right, sometimes we'll say, I told you, say so, and sometimes you will say, no, no, what you said was completely wrong. This is how life went. All right. You have to talk to people, you have to take a lot of advice, but ultimately you make your own decisions. And no decision is actually wrong. I have figured that out even in my life, and I think all the guys out here can say that, okay, doors get closed, another door gets opened, we have to knock a bit, we have to kick a bit, but it always opens. You have to get up and start figuring out another door, and that's what life is about. All right, thanks a lot, people, and I truly, truly, truly enjoyed this. And thank you, Richa, for actually setting this up, because this was, I think, a very brilliant idea in terms of putting people together. And I mean, I'm so proud of you guys. I've truly enjoyed it. So thanks a lot, and
It's our
let's all
privilege.
keep
No,
in
Thanks a
no,
touch.
lot.
it was a pleasure. Thanks to all of them who graciously accepted the way, the first text that I had with all of them. And everybody was like, bang on, we are there, let's start. So I think we are going to expand this group, as sir said, with different people coming in together. I think it'll be a good, we'll try and have more such sessions
Middle East
for us.
alumni meet होने का है अब तो.
Very inspiring.
Okay. All right,
Ah,
guys.
yes, we should plan for it.
हाँ करते हैं. अब की बार जब ये होगा OBSM, when we have the overseas business study meet, I think we'll have a huge gang of people landing up there.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
folks.
a great idea.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks a
and have a
lot.
very nice evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
God bless.
All right, people. Thank you.